I'm doing some work on my own 1955 Royal Enfield Bullet 500 Greenlaner, and I got the front wheel off obviously, and the reason for that is the last time I went greenlaning on it, and it might well be evident in one or more of the videos, over some of the real bumpy stuff that we crossed over and rode along, there was a rather sort of unpleasant clunk and a bang from the forks when they went full stretch after a bump that compressed them. If they suddenly released, there was quite a sort of hard clattering sound, a hammering sound coming from the forks, which I didn't like, so I thought I'd investigate, and this is what we've got. Obviously I've got one fork still in one piece there, I've got the leg off and the spring out, and the other one, much to my surprise, this is a sort of damper assembly, and it also, the threaded part passes through the bottom of the fork leg, and when the nut is done up to tighten the wheel spindle clamp, this sort of locks this into the fork leg via that stud. But this is your sort of damping arrangement, and basically the noise I was getting, the hammering, was when the whole lot went full stretch. And the spring, there's no rebound springs in these forks. I thought there might have been, but there aren't. But basically, the hammering or clattering was when these two bronze components were pretty much hitting each other face to face, pretty much. I expected to see or find a small spring in there. There isn't one. There wasn't one. What I've done instead, though, I've added a thick O-ring. So this is an after, we're looking at it after I've done it, of course. There's the O-ring there, and the idea of it is just to stop these two bronze faces hammering into each other. If and when the forks go full stretch, there'll be a little bit of buffering and cushioning there from that O-ring, I hope, which shouldn't really, is going to, I don't know, jack up the preload on the fork springs by, I don't know, perhaps 3/16 of an inch, if that. Not a hell of a lot, probably be barely noticeable. It had crossed my mind to get some short springs and put them in there, but the faces on these things are actually suited to having the ends of springs bearing against them, really. So I decided that I'd at least offer some cushioning and probably protection and quieten the whole lot down by adding these O-rings. So that's what I'm going to do. If I had about 3 or 4 hands, I could probably hold the handlebar of the bike and push that fork leg up and let it go, and it would come down with a bang, but I can't do that. But that's basically what it does, and that's what I'm trying to stop here. So and I got a strong suspicion that this will probably do the job. So we'll come back to it shortly and see whether it's been worthwhile. Right, made a bit of progress with me 500 Greenlaner's clunky forks, and hopefully now I've got someone, a keen assistant, holding the camera for me. I should have enough hands free to demonstrate what was happening. This fork is as it was. If I push up on it, it's a very hard spring, but if I let go, you can hear that sharp sort of knocky sound. This one, I've got the O-ring in, as I just discussed. That one's nice and quiet, so it's done the job. So the next thing I'm going to do is get this fork leg off, do the same with it, add the O-ring, and we'll be back in business and no more clunking from these forks. That should be a job well done, I hope.